cars are in position. Maximum brake rating. Look at the action ahead here. Hello everybody, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to the Zhuzhou circuit here in China for round 12 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. We had a great race yesterday and there's going to be even more of the same again today to come. Looking forward to this one. My name's Paul Jeffrey, up here in the commentary box. Down on the grid we have Lisa Lanes. In a few moments we're going to have a quick word with Lisa as she talks to some of the drivers and some of the people in the second and final race of the weekend here in China. So perfectly on time, let's head down onto the grid and see who Lisa has managed to find.
Hello everyone and welcome to the second race here at the Zhuzhou International Race Circuit. Race 2, of course that's a reverse grid. Our poleman for this race is Bebu Girolami. I want to speak to him. He was P8 in that first race. Bebu, hi there. Just a few words. Let's talk about that first race, if you can hear me. P8 in that first race, how was it from your seat?
Yeah, yesterday was mixed condition, really difficult, but I think I did a good job for the team, trying to help Norby. He had some issue in the car, so I tried to support him. Okay. I stayed out of trouble, and even if I had the pace to go for more, the main goal was to protect Norby, and yeah, that was everything yesterday, but today is a new opportunity, so it seems to be dry. Let's see how the weather is.
Just picking up on what you said there, your main objective was to protect Norby. You're in front of him on the grid today. I'm guessing you will let him pass if you had the opportunity.
Let's see, many things can happen during the race, you know. It's very difficult to predict, especially with the weather changing. I will focus on my race and then we will see what the strategy is, but we have a good opportunity.
Bebu, let's just talk about your season very quickly. You started with a victory in Vallelunga. Is the aim now just to chase another podium before the season's out?
Yeah, for sure. Still 3 races to go, 1 here, 2 Macau. We know that the straight line is not our, let's say, our strong pace, and now getting dry, it's gonna be difficult, to be honest, against the blue ones, but we will try our best. As always, we have a strong team. BRC is doing a fantastic job. Hyundai is supporting us amazingly. So we will try our best and hopefully it's our day.
Best of luck for race 2. Thank you, Bebu. Now, I would really want to speak to Marco Butti, who's over here. In that first race, we saw him start in P20. He finished P6. On paper, fantastic, but also he was the only driver who pitted and went onto the wet tyres. And I want to speak to him. I know the safety car actually played a part as well. Where is he? Where is he? Marco? Ah, he's Marco. Marco, just a few words before you leave us. Actually, we'll leave you for a moment. We do have the Chinese national anthem, but we'll be right back. Hello, I'm back again, and I'm still chasing Marco. Marco, I was telling everyone at home about the first race.
How you find me?
I found you. You're right here. You've made my life easier. You started P20, you finished P6. Fantastic result, but I know tyres played their part. I know the safety car played their part, but how was it for you?
Yeah, we tried to manage after starting in P9. I'm still keeping my P9 after, I think, 2-3 laps.
Yeah.
I went a bit of water in the track, and my team decided to put new rain tires and try to have, not luck, but try to manage, and at least it works. We have a good one yesterday, and also today we start in the front row, so we try to have a best. our best.
You're actually in front of your teammate Esteban, who's second in the championship standings at the moment. What's the plan there? Will you let him pass? What are the team orders in that sense?
We have to do the race to say something, I don't know.
Okay.
Try to do our best for the team also. And yes, it's very important to arrive in Macau with more possibility of win the championship for my teammate Esteban. And so go for it, Esteban.
Absolutely, and just very quickly, Marco, brand new track. A lot of people are saying it's very good for passing opportunities, and you know that from yesterday. What are your thoughts on it here in China?
It's a very interesting track, a lot of downhill, uphill. Yeah, I like a lot, and also I think with a dry race it can be a massive opportunity to overtake and do a great tourism race.
Okay, thanks for chatting to us. That's Marco Buti there. I see Norby over here. Norby. Just a few words, if you wish. You came into this weekend 25-point lead. You now have a 15-point lead, but the important thing is you do still have that Drivers' Championship lead. How are you feeling ahead of this second race?
To be honest, feels a bit like yesterday. We are not sure about the weather.
Yeah.
It can play a big role. It started to drizzle now, but in the end, coming back to the championship, I don't really care. It's nice to be in front, but I don't think that we will be as competitive as yesterday. So main target will be to stay out of trouble, to score some points, and then to be fully focused for the last event.
Norby, just walking around the paddock this morning, a lot of people are saying, like, in terms of the weather conditions, either wet or dry, but in between, the intermediate, that's where the problems are.
Yeah, that's the problems are, because we don't have intermediate tires. So as you could see yesterday, we needed to survive on slicks. There is no possibility to come back to the pits to change the tires because you lose too much time. So it's a difficult gamble. But in the end, yesterday, was quite straightforward. And today, if we get lucky, we can survive the race in dry conditions. If we don't get lucky, we need to stay clever.
Best of luck, thank you. Norby Michelis there. Like I said, he came into this weekend 25-point lead, now only a 15-point lead, and it's so tight at the top of the general standings. Okay, we've got Marco Ascona over here. Picked up his first victory yesterday of the 2024 season in the World Tour. Just grab a few words with him. Marco, just a few words. Your first victory yesterday of the 2024 season. You must be feeling pretty confident coming into this second race.
Yes, I do. I feel confident winning yesterday. This gives you an exciting feeling to start this race. The weather looks is gonna be very, very close to rain. I can feel some drops, so I really hope will rain during the race. But anyways, I think I will do maximum on dry. Starting from P7, I have Norby in front of me, so we work as a team. So let's see what we can do.
Best of luck, Mikhail. Okay, let's see who else I can find before we run out of time. I really want to speak to Ma Qinhua. Home round for him, home round for his team, Lincoln Co. Zion Racing. That's Ted Bjork there. Ted, second in the standings. He's only 15 points off the lead. Santi Urrutia here. But Ma Qing, I think he's actually further down the front. But let's see if we can grab a few words with, oh no, Ted's in the car already. It's so busy here because we've had the, look, we've got Jan over here. Let's see if we can grab a few words with Jan. Jan, very, very quickly, home round for the team. Does it feel extra busy here, maybe extra pressure for you guys?
No extra pressure, but for sure it's nice to see all the Chinese coming to the race. We have a lot of activities to do for them, but it's a real pleasure to share the passion of racing again since 2019. So now looking forward to do a great show in front of us.
Okay, best of luck, Jan. Best of luck to the team. Good luck to all the drivers here on the grid. Time now for race 2 and back to commentary.
Thank you very much, Lisa Leyland, down there on the grid. And as mentioned by Mikhail Azcona, there are little drops of precipitation in the air. So, just like in race 1, reverse back to this time yesterday, we thought we were going to get away with the weather, and it seems to be creeping in slowly but surely ahead of this second and final race of the weekend. A little bit of wet stuff on a racetrack with 28 touring cars, usually equals pretty fun times indeed. So we'll keep our eye on the weather report as things progress, but we're certainly looking like we're going to have a great race ahead of us. Yesterday, exactly the same time when we did round 11, we had a wonderful battle. Mikel Azcona came through strong, the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa team, very much favouring wet conditions on track. Azcona was a star, it has to be said. 7+ seconds to the good from Esteban Gurrieri. Did his whole championship charge a world of good as well. It is again a BRC Hyundai car at the front of the field, but courtesy of the reverse grid, this time it's Argentine's Bebu Girolami. We can see Nestor on screen there. He's got a good opportunity. There's a little bit of doubt, I think, within the BRC squad as to the ultimate pace of that car in dry conditions, so we are expecting the Hyundais to be a little bit vulnerable to the chasing pack behind. First of whom is this man here, Marco Butti, the young Italian driver, as Lisa mentioned in her grid walk, elected to come down pit lane from 11th position in the race to chuck a set of wet boots on the car. Safety car both helped and hindered Butti during that session. Hindered in the fact it was out for too long, but helped in the fact it brought him back in contention. He recovered to 6th position. A driver that was incredibly quiet by his usual standards, Ma Qinghua, racing on home soil for the Lincoln Co Cyan Racing team. Ma would have been very disappointed indeed with the end result outside of the top 10 in race 1. Starting from 3rd on the grid though for this event, he's got a very good opportunity indeed to cycle his way through to the front of the field. This is a driver, Martin Z, that would have been very frustrated as well with how things worked out for him yesterday. Got involved in a little bit of contact. That's really hurt his TCR China Championship challenge as well. Came into this one 3rd in the standings before the race began. Got some good support from the home crowd as well, it seems, with the banners up there. It really is wonderful, actually, to see, as Jan Alishay mentioned. The crowds here at Zhuzhou really, really keen to see how the World Tour combatants get on with the TCR China field. Esteban Gurrieri, he had a good race yesterday as well. 2nd position, bit of an under-the-radar drive despite being so high up, but for Esteban, that really helped as well. He's closed the championship lead at Norbert Michaelis down to just 16 points to himself. Yes, he's dropped behind Ted Bjork, but 16 is a very slender margin indeed. And there is that man, our leader of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, Norbert Michaelis, will be starting in 6th position for this race. Reverse grid race, of course. Didn't have the pace, nor, it has to be said, the appetite to get involved particularly hard in the battles of yesterday. Survived on those slick tyres in increasingly wet conditions, while his teammate Mikel Azcona ran away with things, it had to be said, at the front of the field. Very brave in terms of overtaking for Mikel. Lots and lots of pace in that BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa car in wet conditions. As things stand, it's dry, but you can just see a little bit of rain splatter on that camera lens there. I can definitely see a little bit of wet stuff in the air. So whether it stays dry all the way through to the conclusion of the scheduled 16 laps running, we'll find that one out a little bit later on. Jan Alishay, a relatively quiet race for himself as well by his standards yesterday. 4th position at the checkered flag. He'll be lining up 8th on the grid, and Jan is really starting to become a little bit detached now, relatively speaking, in the chase for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. He's 32 points in arrears in 5th position, and behind that man Ted Bjork, who's running point for Lincoln Co Cyan Racing. 2nd place in the standings. It's going to be beyond fascinating to see if Jan is enlisted to help Ted Bjork's result, or whether the French driver is still pushing for his own championship charge. So here is the grid then for round 12. It is Bebu Girolami from Marco Butti at the front of the field. Ma Qinghua, and then is 3rd position, and then in 4th place it is Martin Z. 5th position, Esteban Gurrieri with Norbert Michaelis alongside him. Mikel Azcona will start out from 7th for this race. Jan Alishay joins him, and then on the 9th place is Ted Bjork from Santiago Arrutia, and then in 11th it's Zhu Dewey. In 13th, John Philippi from Dusan Borkovic. Rob Huff will line up in 15th position, and in 16th is Chao Hong Wei. Yifan in 17th, and Hazy Lee in 18th. Seizi Ho is 19th, and then Yan Chuk Wai will start in 20th. Wat Yanxing in 21st from Yunji, and then in 23rd it is Chan Leong. In 24th, Deng Bo Wei. 25th position is Su Ming from Chan Chi Wai in 26th. Lei Jing in 27th position, and then rounding out our field of 28 cars. 28 cars, wonderful to be joining TCR China. There are slightly larger drops of rain I'm hearing from the grid. So this is all the spice in the world that we need for these drivers. And this will be a very important reconnaissance lap to the grid. Well, formation lap, should I say. For the field, their first opportunity to get out on track and just have a little feel as to exactly how wet it is going to be coming into this race. Very difficult. The best of times, a race start for a touring car driver. Even more so when there's a question mark hanging in the air over the weather conditions. Driver's points that we just saw briefly at the bottom of our screen. It is Norby that is our leader by 15 points from Ted Bjork, 16 points. The further one by is Esteban Gurrieri. Mikel Azcona, further 9 in arrears, with 24 points to the leader. Jan Elishay, 32 points to the top of the tree. And Santiago Urrutia, 68 back, and Bebu Girolami, 84. Girolami starting on pole position, does have an opportunity to help his teammate Nolan Mikulis. But for Norby, he's got to get onto the back of Girolami first before any kind of assistance can be applied. And that is most certainly not the easiest thing in the world to achieve. One formation lap. Cars will form up on the grid. It will be a standing start. We've got 16 scheduled laps. We can increase that to 18 as a maximum should we have a safety car intervention, of which we had 2 yesterday. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility. So not a lot of time. Around 26, 27 minutes, a standard race duration. Not a lot of time for these drivers to make their bid to be a hero or a zero come the checkered flag. And this car number 105 is, of course, our points leader, Nolan Mikulis. We have another onboard camera as well with Ma Qinghua for Lincoln Co. and also the Martin Z Mac Pro Honda and the Jason Zhang Lincoln Co. Teamwork Motorsports vehicle. And there is Jason Zhang right on cue. In the previous generation, Lincoln Co., of course, not the latest machine that's run by Cyan Racing, Frederick Vallen, looking on with a face of concern, it has to be said. There is Jason Z, the number 55 Mac Pro Honda. He'll be lining up on the grid. Very, very keen is all of these drivers to avoid any kind of dramas in the opening few laps. It is, of course, this is where the biggest pressure lies for these drivers. A mistake can very easily be made in the opening few tours. It is a very frantic start to the lap here at Zhuzhou. Staying out of trouble is going to be the order of the day. Tense faces then on the pit wall and in the garages. Lots and lots of focus from these 28 touring car drivers as the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour joins TCR China for the 2 races here at Zhuzhou. All is clear at the rear of the field. Attention is now focused on the lights at the top of the gantry. In a few moments' time, we go for round 12 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. And it is a fantastic start from Ma Qinghua, immediately up into second position. Marco Butti trying to avoid being swallowed up by the chasing pack. A good start for Gurrieri as well. Nolan Mikulis has been a little bit caught out. A little bit further down, Mikel Azcona's managed to make his way past. So Azcona getting a great start as the Spanish driver, immediately on the coattails of the chasing pack. But it is Bebu Girolami from Ma Qinghua. A couple of Lincoln Copes fanning out just a little bit further back. Jan Elishay in a bit of strife as well, trying to make his way past some of the TCR China runners. There we see Elishay side by side with Martin Z. Z has the inside line, just about holds on a little bit further back. Santi Arruti keeps a watching brief. Martin Z heavily on the defensive. Contact between himself and Elishay. Z's punted out wide. Elishay makes his way through. Azcona buys into that one as well. A little bit further back, I think that was Ted Bjork that we saw escaping through the chicane. He's back on the racetrack though, no harm, no foul. And now Martin Z under big pressure from the second of the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing cars. There we see Ted Bjork at the back of your shot getting hung out to dry a little bit. So not an ideal start for Ted, our second place runner in the Kumho TCR World Tour standings. Bjork is definitely in a difficult spot, but Bebu Girolami, job done on the opening lap. He has the early lead from Ma Qinghua. Marco Butti in third. Behind him, Esteban Gurrieri. The two GOAT Racing Hondas running third and fourth. Good start for the Spanish-based operation. Gurrieri, of course, keen to make hay while the sun does shine. There is Jan Elishay, having had a little bit of a hip and shoulder with Martin Z earlier on, but he got away with that one. He's got Mikel Azcona keeping him company behind. Rob Huff's been a good starter. He's up to 9th position. There is Rob and John Philippi running close together, so both of the Volcano Motorsports Audi cars have done a good job off this opening lap. But the best job for sure is Bebu Girolami at the front of the field, as Marco Butti now leaves the door open for teammate Gurrieri. That is a bit of synchronised swimming from the GOAT Racing Hondas. Gurrieri up into third. Butti now solely on a defensive mission, trying to keep Jan Elishay behind and give his Argentinian teammate a bit of an opportunity to concentrate on the cars ahead and not worry too much about the cars behind. Elishay desperately trying to stay in contention as Lincoln Co.'s main championship charger. French driver has an opportunity. Ted Bjork still mired down in 11th position. So for Jan, he's going to be very keen to move forward as quickly as possible and see if some opportunity can present itself. 2 laps in the books, then all is fair in love and war so far. It's Martin Z, I think. Let me have a quick look down my timing tree. Yes, Martin Z is in some kind of trouble and perfectly on cue. There we have a look at the Mac Pro Racing Honda mechanics looking at the front suspension assembly for Martin Z. His weekend has fallen apart, it seems, yesterday and today. There's Michaelis under pressure from Bjork, first and second in the championship. This is massively important for points. Ooh, and there's a bit bigger damage as well. That's going to be a safety car. It looks like that is the 95 of Ho Hung, sorry. So that is the 95 of the GYT racing car. Pulled off the side of the circuit. We'll see if there's any safety car intervention, but let's concentrate at the moment on the fight that you see in the back of your shot. There is Ted Bjork trying desperately to find a way past Michaelis. Michaelis just doesn't have the pace this weekend. You can see Bebu Girolami in the sister car at the front of the field under pressure from Ma Qinghua as well. The pace is just not there for the Hyundai. At the top of your shot, we see them side by side. Bjork on the outside, Norby on the inside line. It should be a survival for Norby. Yes, it is, just about. So he holds on to 10th position. But Ted Bjork is very interested in buying into this one indeed. There is the stranded vehicle, and right on cue, there is the safety car intervention, as we expected. And for Ho Heng, that is a real shame to be into retirement so early. Can only assume that there was some kind of altercation with Martin Z as well, with Martin being down pit lane. But that's a very sad-looking Audi, it has to be said. And almost immediately we revert back to a resting posture after a very frantic couple of laps. Hopefully the Marshall crew here in China can get that car cleared fairly quickly. It doesn't look like it's particularly near any kind of escape area, so hopefully that one's done and dusted before too long. Safety car waiting at the end of the start-finish straight to pick up the field. And it's a good opportunity for everyone to reassess exactly how the start of their race went. And one of the big losers in that little opening lap skirmishes has got to be this man Norbert Michaelis. Started in 6th position. He's dropped all the way down to 10th place as Norby. He's still in front of Ted Bjork, significantly behind Esteban Gurrieri up there in 3rd. So for Norby, in a car where he's fair to say, struggling for confidence in terms of outright pace. This has not been a great start for your reigning champion. So the safety car then picks up the field, and that feels like it might be a good opportunity for us to take a quick look at a replay of some of the opening lap dramas that we've seen here in Zhuzhou. So this is the start of the race, and there is one of the Teamwork Lincoln Co machines stalled off the line. Didn't see that one on the live. They get the car going again, and thankfully everybody manages to avoid Jason Zhang. So that's a big drama for Jason Zhang. He came into this one as the TCR China points leader and was very impressive in race one. But Zhang's got a lot of work to do. Through the opening few encounters, though, it was fairly status quo at the front of the pack, fanned out to 4 wide at one point. We did see during the live, I think it was Ted Bjork in a little bit of drama as well. This is one of the last few times we see the 55 of Martin Z in shot. He had a good little race through the opening few corners. This is on board with Jason Zhang and the Teamwork Lincoln Co. That's contact in front of us, just getting held up, which is the problem when you're in the middle of the pack. Dainbo Wei in the Honda there was getting in the way. That is Ted Bjork electing to take the escape road as well, and that was an intelligent bit of driving from Ted. Didn't want to take the risk of the fight, so quickly bailed away to the side of the track. It's all about finishing. The way that the points work here in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, and the way that the competitive order works, it has to be said, you've got to be consistent, you've got to keep banking those points. Any kind of DNF, and that's going to really scupper your challenge. That's the problem that Jan Elishay's been dealing with. It's been a bit feast or famine for Jan. 4 DNFs of recent time is pretty much the main reason why he's down in 5th in the point standings. You've got to get the results. When the car's not underneath you for the day, just bring it to the flag, score what you can do, and that's exactly what Norbert Michaelis has been doing, which is why he's leading the World Tour as things stand. He did it last season as well. Take the results when they're on offer, score the points when they are available. And that is absolutely the key to success. That is the Teamwork squad and their various VIPs and guests watching on. As here we go now, the snatch vehicle's here, so hopefully we can get that car shifted out of the way and continue racing here at Zhuzhou. 16 laps we started this race, of course. We can add an additional 2 should we so desire for a safety car, so we will be bumping the running order up to 18 laps to the checkered flag. Hopefully we can get that car cleared nice and quickly, get back into racing conditions as soon as possible. Weather update. The rainfall has still not started, or still not kicked into full gear. There is a little bit of moisture hanging in the air, it seems, but we're still confidently in dry conditions for these drivers. Lap times moving back up to racing order will reflect that one as well. There's still plenty of grip out there on track, unlike what we saw in yesterday's race, where it got increasingly strong, the rainfall, as the race progressed. We are going to get away with it today. Sayan Racing Lincoln Co. pensively looking on. They've got a good opportunity here with Ma Qinghua in 2nd position as things stand. I think Ma would perhaps feel, based on the form this team have been displaying thus far. Well, that's a curious one. Let's move a TCR car with forklift truck. That one's going to be that might be interesting. Could take a while, that one. But yeah, Ma Qinghua, the Lincoln Co team, have definitely been the form team of the weekend thus far. So although Ma's not picked up the results that his teammates have as things stand, he's definitely got a great opportunity here. Lincoln Co looking on there, Paul and team manager Frederick Vallen keeping an eye on things. Their man in 2nd position. Got another car again, Elishay up in 5th, Arrutia in 7th. And Ted Bjork, their main driver in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour in terms of points scored thus far, is still down in 11th place. So Ted has got quite a lot of work to do, it has to be said, if he wants to move on and make any kind of inroads to Norbert Michaelis, like it's been since pretty much the beginning of time in touring car racing, and no less so in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Name of the game, make sure you head to Macau and be in with a shout, because Macau is one of those places where anything can and usually does happen. But if you can get to the streets of Macau and you've still got a mathematical chance of taking the title, then it is absolutely all to play for. We came into this one with 10 drivers in mathematical contention. We lost one of those drivers almost straight away in John Filippi after disappointing qualifying. And I think we're going to come away from Zhuzhou with significantly fewer drivers to focus on coming into the final round. There'll be 4 or 5 drivers left over, I'm sure, when we get to the end of the race. It's still under safety car conditions. I'm hearing in my ear from our broadcast director that the recovery vehicle is still on track clearing that car, so hopefully they'll get that one out of the way sooner rather than later and we can get back into racing conditions. My apologies to you all for the safety car intervention. Hopefully we'll be back on the green flag running and we can have some great racing again. There is, the position's changed at least at that Audi, so it's a real unfortunate place to stop on track. There's no, the escape barriers nearby just to nip that car behind and get us back on the green flag. But the marshals here at Zhuzhou, of course, do great work, as do marshals all the way around the world to help us go racing safely and in an orderly fashion. So good opportunity to profess my thanks to the marshals around the world, not just here in China, for the excellent work they do. We couldn't do what we do if the marshals didn't do what they do. And a big thank you to each and every one of them, working in difficult conditions to make sure we stay safe and we can put on a great show and go motor racing. So you can see the top of your screen then. Laps have moved up to 18 now. We've had it, as per our regulations, we can adjust the running order by a further 2 laps, which we have done so. And hopefully we'll go green again very, very soon. And we can pick up where we left off from what was a very frantic opening couple of laps racing. Great start for Ma Qinghua. Good launch from 3rd on the grid. Got past a slightly tardy Marco Butti off the line. That made Butti vulnerable to his teammate Esteban Gurrieri. So Esteban snuck into that 3rd position, which is very much helping his overall championship challenge as well. Butti's currently in 4th place at the moment, but he's got the not inconsiderable task of a Jan Elyshe behind him. Let's take another look then. While we wait for green flag conditions, Martin Zhang didn't get a car off of the line. A rare mistake from the number 36 Teamwork Motorsports Lincoln co-driver. Got the car running quickly again. Thankfully, the whole field managed to filter past without that turning into a bigger incident. Ma Qinghua had a good start, as I mentioned, up to 2nd position at very, very early doors off of the line. Marco Butti provisionally held that 3rd place, but plays the GOAT Racing team game and opened the door for his teammate Esteban Gurrieri without much interference to find his way past. But Gurrieri had a small task of keeping the chasing pack at bay behind before they could orchestrate that overtake. 28 cars, relatively small circuit, for a couple of drivers electing to bail out of the action, Ted Bjork being one of them. There we see Bjork with Hong Wei Chao behind, following the Swedish driver through the chicane. A little bit further down the running order, this is Jason Zhang on board again. That's a little bit of contact. The Honda just holding us up momentarily, but the 36 of Zhang did manage to make it through relatively uncompromised. That's the change of position between Marco Butti and Esteban Gurrieri. Butti said to Lisa Leyland on the grid that he would be willing to help his teammate should the opportunity arise. Of course, Esteban Gurrieri very much with his hat in the ring for the conversation of the overall title. So that's been a big result for Esteban to get up to 3rd, complementing the 2nd position that he scored yesterday. So again, Gurrieri, the story of the season for Esteban Gurrieri, has been banking those big results when they're available. Not always has it been the spunky, dramatic performance at the front of the field. It's just been very, very mechanical process, getting the results whenever he can score them, maximising performance of car and team, and it's working very, very well for Esteban Gurrieri so far. Still under safety cars conditions then here at Zhuzhou. Smiles all round, although I think Martin Z will not be a happy chappy came into this weekend full of promise. It's not worked out as planned, unfortunately, for Martin. And he's heading back to pit lane again, having failed to capitalise on the massively impressive pace that we have seen. I've been very impressed, I must admit, by everything about the TCR China field. The professionalism of the teams and drivers, of course, the presentation of the championship, and the competitors within it have all been at a very, very high level. And more importantly, the quality of the driving standards. At bare minimum, we've had 2 or 3 drivers at any given time have been in contention for the top 10, top 12 finishing positions in qualifying and in the racing. So it's a really, really high level series at the front of the pack in TCR China. And they've really helped put on a fantastic show for the good folks watching from home. Still under safety car conditions, unfortunately. Hopefully it will be green flag in the not too distant future. Good opportunity talking to everybody watching at home on the TCR TV YouTube channel. It's lovely to have you with us. Thank you once again for joining us. Thank you for supporting us over the course of the season. Just a reminder to you to check out the TCR series social channels between now and Macau. We've got a few things going out there, a little bit of insight into the world of touring cars. Some great content, so give us a follow, a like, and a subscribe, and all the good things that you do on social media, so you can stay in tune with what's happening in the world of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Relatively new series. We only came into life last year. We had a great opening year for the World Tour, and again in 2024 it's been an absolutely fabulous year. It's only growing, it's only getting bigger, it's only getting more exciting. So stay on the journey with us. Lots of good things to come, and eventually that's the sight we like to see. There are no flashing lights at the top of the safety car, and that means we can go racing once again after a very lengthy delay. 18 laps on the board, 10 of which are still to go, and we are in racing conditions again. Bebu Girolami from Marchinghua at the front of the pack, Esteban Gurrieri and Marco Butti following in quick succession in 3rd and 4th positions. Girolami gets the lead off of the restart, but it is a slender lead to himself, between himself and Marchinghua. So a good restart by the Chinese driver. He's going to be on his tippy toes almost immediately to try and find a way past. The Lincoln Co seems to be a little bit quicker, a little bit more sprightly in a straight line, it has to be said. And this is the opportunity, while everything is cold on the cars, for Mar to try and pounce. Rob Huff is behind John Philippi, 9th and 8th positions respectively for the Volcano Motorsports Audi drivers. They've had a great start at the beginning of this race. There you can see them at the back of your shot. As Mikel Azcona comes under pressure from Santi Urrutia. There's somebody exiting and rejoining the racetrack a little bit further down. Tyre smoke is in the air, so there's been some kind of strife, but thankfully they get the car back on the straight and narrow, so there'll be no need for yet another safety car intervention. Philippi and Huff side by side. Huffy has the inside line, the 179 takes the position away. John Philippi trying to have a little nibble, trying to counter-attack, but there's no opportunity. That brings Norbert Mikulis into the equation as well. Norby, our points leader, having a little look, can't get the car rotated to the inside quite as well as John Philippi in the Audi ahead. So Philippi just holding on for now, but Nicholas doesn't have much opportunity to hold back, and there he goes almost immediately to the inside, does Norby. Very, very late on the brakes, gets the car stopped on the apex. That is a perfect overtake for Norbert Mikulis. He makes one up. Philippi now under pressure from Ted Bjork. He dives down pit lane, does John Philippi. So some kind of drama in the Volcano Motorsport car. That allows Ted Bjork the opportunity to follow through and close down on the back of Norbert Mikulis. There is Jan Elishay dropping off the back of Marco Butti, has to be said. He's fallen into the clutches of Mikel Azcona. Santi Urrutia following through as well. Azcona, of course, will be very enthusiastic, not only for his own championship charge, but also to help the BRC team in general. The more Lincoln Co's he can clear, the more points he will bank. Azcona 4th in the standings so far, 24 points behind his teammate Norbert Mikulis at the top of the tour. This will help big time for Azcona if he can put a few points between himself and his teammates, stay in that conversation. But he's got an increasingly frustrated Santi Urrutia Climbing over the back of him, there's Urrutia, has a look to the outside line. Azcona's going to show him the edge of the racetrack though, no doubt on corner exit, there we go. Urrutia outside the track limits, but he keeps his foot planted. That door opens and there we go. A little bit of perseverance from Santi Urrutia. Bit debatable as to the legitimacy of that one, but Urrutia gets the job done. Very purposeful overtake from the 1-1-2, defends the inside line from Azcona. Azcona no doubt will try and cut back and get the launch off the corner. There we go. Good launch. That is the Volcano Motorsports team looking at a dejected John Felipe, it has to be said. Great start for John and teammate Rob Huff, but unfortunately that one comes to precisely nothing. Back of the shot, the Lincoln Co and the Hyundai are still fighting. I do think Azcona though, the rain dance that the team have done at the start of this race does not look like it's going to pay off. It is staying relatively dry here in Zhuzhou. So I think the Lincoln Co's are going to be the ones in the ascendancy. The Hyundais are the ones that are under a little bit of pressure. Marco Butti under more than a little bit of pressure, it has to be said, from Jan Aleshe. Although on this occasion, Jan can't quite get close enough to pull alongside. Marcinkoir, though, he's making his own bid for the race lead. Bebel Girolamo is struggling in that BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa. The Argentinian driver versus the Chinese driver of Marcinkoir for Lincoln Co on home soil. Driver and team. A little bit further back, Jan Aleshe's made his way past Marco Butti as well. We'll come back to that one though, because this is the bid for the race lead. Marcinkoir to the outside. He'll try and cut back on the inside of Girolamo. Girolamo very aware of that one. Keeps the car firmly in the middle of the track. But Mar now, at this juncture of the race, most definitely has the pace. Most definitely has the intention and the will to try and wrestle this race lead away from Bebel Girolamo. His teammate Jan Aleshe showed how it's done a little bit further back in his own overtake. Up in a third place, and Mar now from one side of the racetrack to the other. Be very, very careful, Mar. That car was absolutely dancing on the edge of adhesion. But Marcinkoir doing every single trick in the book he's got. If there's a rabbit up your sleeve, now's the time to pull it out, because Bebel Girolamo, seasoned, wily campaigner, is Girolamo. He's going to give away absolutely no gifts at the front of this front of this pack. It's all about Mar. It's all about what he can do to try and leverage that pace to sneak past the race-leading BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa Elandra. Here we go again then for another attack. Keeping it neat is Mar, filling the mirrors, has a little look to the inside, too far back on that occasion. Too many of those little feints, those half-hearted overtakes, and that's going to do exactly what it's doing and bring Esteban Gurrieri into the conversation. So Esteban, keen to consolidate his P2 from race one, senses the opportunity. Marco Butti, having been overtaken by Aleshe, is very firmly dropping back into the clutches of Santi Urrutia as well. Mikel Azcona, almost with the invisible tow rope on the back, the front of his BRC car, is firmly in that fight as well. A little bit of a loose bonnet actually for Azcona, perhaps a bit of a kiss and a tap earlier on. There's the launch from Urrutia. There was no gap there, Santi. A kiss and a bump. Out goes Marco Butti. There was absolutely no gap though there for Urrutia. Touring car bump and shove overtake though. Marco Butti will be rightfully, I think, a little bit unimpressed with that one. The Italian is most certainly not known for being shy on the racetrack. Fireworks predicted, methinks, in that particular fight. And there is Santi on the defensive. Is he giving that one back? Possibly. A little kiss as well. Mikel Azcona couldn't get a car stopped in time. Santi Urrutia did very well indeed, it has to be said, to control that one. This one now brings Rob Huff very firmly back. Welcome back, Huffy. Have you missed us? We've missed you most certainly, and this kind of racing is going to be very hard to resist. Look how aggressive Huffy is now. Big defence from Azcona. Covers the inside line. Huff doesn't have enough room to run all the way around the outside, but that Volcano Audi is looking good. And then Butti is under all of the pressure in the world from Urrutia as well. Great bit of fighting in this battle pack. Butti on the defensive, Azcona on the defensive. Huffy trying everything and more to find a way past. That's a great great launch from the hairpin. Now Rob Huff has got the run. Mikolas Kona too late to cover the inside line. This is game, set and match for Rob Huff. There we go. The Volcano Audi sneaks its way past. Great bit of overtaking, and then side by side further up as well. Booty has to go to the grass. Marco Booty now. He's been compromised. That's opened the door for Santi Urrutia. Urrutia, second time of asking, gets the job done. The 1-1-2 has the inside line. Booty can't get underneath him again. He's going to have to keep his powder dry for a couple of corners, try and relaunch the attack. The Italian driver Marco Booty for Goat Racing. That car is going backwards, the Honda. Not quite as fast, it doesn't seem, as those around him. Bebu Girolami on the defensive as well. At the front of the pack, Marcinkois still trying to find his way past. But we keep our concentration firmly rooted on this particular battle pack. It is advantage Urrutia, Marco Booty absolutely not giving up the chase. And then Rob Huff thoroughly enjoying his return to the World Tour. Let's take a look here then, flashing the lights from Urrutia. That was the attempt that never was from Santiago. A little kiss on the rear quarter of the Goat Racing car. That absolutely was not on. Marco Booty did not leave a gap. And I think Urrutia recognised that one, did concede that position. Back again. And now, when everything's shuffled out, he's back in front. Bebu Girolami recognises the threat from behind. He knows he's got a race on his hands. Does Bebu Girolami. Big defensive drive from the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa driver. Absolutely glued his eyes to the mirror. And of course, in motor racing, not just touring cars, a good tactic for the chaser is to fill the mirrors of the car that's on the defensive posture. Just make the driver concentrate, never quite know what you're going to do, second guess your moves, and that's exactly what Ma is doing. Just popping his nose out from the back of the car, feeling the mirrors, just giving Nestor Girolami something to think about, something to concentrate on, in the hope that that will either compromise his pace or force him into a mistake and open the door for the 155 to find his way past. While they're squabbling though, that is bringing Esteban Guerrieri in. Lincoln Co like that one. A few wry smiles there, a little bit cautious to get too overly optimistic until the checkered flag falls. There is Ma again, has a look to the inside. Do you avoid contact? Come on, Ma. Be a little bit careful, a little bit more circumspect. And he does. They avoid any kind of contact, but that bit of a fake look, so to speak, to the inside has cost a couple of car lengths to Marcinkois, it has to be said. As he crossed the line to complete lap number 14, start lap number 15, it is still Girolami. But you could throw a blanket over our race leader, Marcinkois, and Esteban Guerrieri in second and third places, respectively. This one could absolutely go any way of these three drivers. Guerrieri is the one at the pointiest point of the World Tour standings. He's third place, 16 points in arrears, but it's going to be a very big day of points indeed for the Argentinian driver. So keen as he will be to be involved, doesn't want to risk the points at this moment in time. He's quite happy to watch Ma have his little nibble. There we go again. Guerrieri being very aerobic in his movement, shall we say. Being a little bit all over the racetrack, trying to break the slipstream, trying to cover the inside line, give no sense of an opportunity to Marcinkois. But I do think this level of intensity for Nestor Girolami is going to be very hard indeed to keep up all the way through the race. Ma has the pace, he just needs a Lincoln Co-sized gap in which to throw the car down the inside of, and we all know Marcinkois, he's not afraid of throwing cars down the inside of people and into gaps. One of the least happy sights would be to see Marcinkois in your rear view mirrors with a pace advantage, because he's a very good racer and overtaker is Ma. Trying to get the switchback for the launch through the corners. Girolami has it covered, and let's see, very composed defensive drive from Nestor Girolami, it has to be said. Clearly doesn't have the pace in that Hyundai Elantra N, but it does have the racing chops, the intelligence at the front of the field to make sure that he's giving up as fewer opportunities as humanly possible. Further down the running order, Marco Booty still on the defensive from Rob Huff. Norbert Mikulis has moved up into 8th position, so Mikel Azcona has given her place away to his teammate. That's good teamwork from Azcona, breaking this up into 8th place. Very much a damage limitation exercise this weekend for Norby. The Hungarian driver came into it 25 points to the good at the head of the standings. That's going to reduce yet further, it has to be said. Those 30 kilos really heavily affecting Mikel Azcona's pace, it seems. Very briefly, we had a quick look there at David Zhuzhou. He's doing well. Is Zhuzhou at this moment in time? As the fight continues up on ahead, it does seem like the charge has been blunted ever so slightly for Marching Wise. Just taking a moment to get a little bit of breath, have a little breather, just work out where Bebu Girolami is stronger or weaker respectively than the Lincoln Co car. It does not look like Girolami has the pace. That kind of reluctance to be too confident, I think it's fair to say, in the BRC squad in the paddock this weekend. The car not quite as fast in dry conditions, but as we saw in race 1, Mikel Azcona was slipperier than a slippy thing in Slippersville at the front of the grid. Really did a fabulous job to take the victory by the thick end of 8 seconds. And it does seem now that Bebu Girolami is keeping up the BRC Hyundai squad's honours in dry conditions. So you can go on about your perceived lack of pace and concern about pace, but it could be a 2 from 2 for the Italian squad as things stand. So certainly not too much trouble on the front of the field for that car, although I do think that Marching Wise certainly has the pace at this moment in time. He just doesn't have the opportunity. There is the teamwork Lincoln Co car, David Zhuzhou. Then we're having a look there. 12th position overall, just behind Dusan Borkovic. But this is a big opportunity for David as well to score big in his own championship charge in TCR China. It's been a very composed performance, very, very impressive performance, it has to be said, as Norbert Mikulis gets a little bit locked up and all over the place on the curbs. The sort of persistent, mild drizzle, so to speak, that's in the air is gently soaking up the trackside furniture here in Zhuzhou, making those curbs very treacherous and very slippery indeed. As Azcona trying everything he can, he so desperately wants to keep Ted Bjork at bay. As things stand, Bjork is second in the World Tour standings coming into this race, so any kind of barrier that Mikel Azcona can present for his team between Mikulis and Bjork will be very highly appreciated indeed. Ted certainly has the pace at this moment in time. The question here is, does he have the opportunity to find his way past Azcona? I do think that should Mikel concede this position, Ted Bjork will be in a very good place to find a way past Norbert Mikulis. Hence the reason that Azcona, despite the pace that he's got, that appears to be higher, it has to be said, than Norby at this stage, is very, very much deployed in a defensive posture. Really, really working hard behind the wheel to keep that Lincoln Co at bay. Ted's going to have to pull something very special out of the bag on this final lap if he wants to find a way past the slightly battle-scarred, it has to be said, Mikel Azcona. Back at the front of the field, though, Girolami just has one final tour to do to keep hold this race victory. 14 laps, 2.3 miles, just under to go for Girolami. This is the launch, marching war on home soil. Can he find a way past? He manages to lever his way past contact between the two of them. Mar is off the racetrack. Does he have damage? Can he get the car stopped? Secondary contact as well. It's not very attractive between the two of them, but Marching War, third bit of contact as well. He is beyond enthusiastic about the opportunity to take away a victory. Now Girolami loses position. He has the outside line. He does have the overlap, but he doesn't have the real estate to get it done. Marching War, I think, with 3 bits of contact, plenty of aggression. Has he done enough to take home the victory on home soil? The Chinese driver locks up on the inside. Girolami now climbing all over the back of him, hanging on him like a cheap suit. The 129 in the slipstream. Girolami is running out of real estate. He's running out of opportunities. Dives to the inside. That one's covered. Great bit of driving from Ma. Last of the late breakers from Bebu, but Ma Qinghua just about by the skin of his teeth hangs on into the final corner for the final time with a last lap overtake. It is a race victory for Ma Qinghua and Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing on home soil. Everybody in the Cyan pit enjoyed that one. That is a very popular home victory for Ma Qinghua. Bebu Girolami gave it everything he's got, but didn't have an answer on that final lap. Jan Aleshe sneaks through to the bottom step of the podium as well. A top four, 3 cars in the top 4 for Lincoln Co. on home soil, and that means a lot to the team. Frederick Vallen there, very, very happy. Geely Group, of course, absolutely delighted. Home race for Lincoln Co. They so desperately wanted the big result. They want it for their championship. They want it for their home fans. They've got a lot of people here this weekend as well to celebrate with them. And Ma Qinghua, I dare say there'll be 1 or 2 tears for Ma Qinghua after that one. He wanted to win so much on home soil, and he's done that one in the most impressive of ways. That is an absolutely beautiful final lap for Ma. High fives at BRC as well. Bebu Girolami in second position was a good result. Norbert Mikulis manages to hang on to 8th position ahead of Mikkel Athkona at the flag, so that's a solid damage limitation exercise for Norby. But it's all about the man of the moment, isn't it? Ma Qinghua. What a fabulous drive. Pressure applied all the way through the race. He knew he had to do something special on that final lap, and something special indeed did Ma do. 3 bits of contact, I'm sure will be looked at a bit deeper after the race. 3 bits of contact, a little bit of elbows out, a little bit of pushing and shoving, kissing and cuddling, but it all worked out at the end for Ma Qinghua. Audacious overtake on the final lap. Let's take a quick look while all our drivers are circulating round. Let's have another look, I think, at that incident between Ma and Bebu on the final lap. So here we go. This is where it all starts. Girolami defending the inside line. Ma setting it up on corner exit. It's all about the corner launch on this occasion. Tries to get alongside and does so. Girolami desperately closing the door, but Ma has forced the option to the inside. Secondary contact. I thought that was it. I thought that was it for Ma Qinghua, but he's braver than I. Keeps the foot very firmly planted. Bounces over the curb as well. Doesn't look particularly great on second viewing, but Ma absolutely out of options at that stage. Girolami gave everything he's got, rolling the dice and more to try and recover, but Ma Qinghua keeps hold of that one. 3 pieces of light contact between the side of them, but a massive cheer at the Cyan Racing Lincoln Co. garage. Look at that one. That means the world to all the staff and VIPs, and look at Ma. Look how happy he is. I guarantee there is tears under that helmet for Ma Qinghua. He absolutely loves his racing. He's a very patriotic Chinese driver as well. He wants to perform on home soil, and he's absolutely done so. That was good, say the team. I'll tell you something, for 3, that was more than good. That was absolutely excellent from Jan Aleshe. Is very, very happy as well. Of course, Jan, a podium on home soil. Absolutely delighted. And there he is, the first to congratulate Ma. Slap of the bonnet. Well done. Jan's got a new helmet this weekend, of course. Looks very nice, I must admit. Caught me off guard there. I thought it was Ma for a moment, but of course, it's Jan Aleshe. Ever the sportsman, ever the gentleman is Jan. Wants to be the first to congratulate his new teammate. Sorry, not his new teammate, of course. His new race winner on home soil, and there is Ma. To the cheers. The flag as well. Let the man get out of the car first. Come on. He's got some hugging and some high-fiving and some cheering to do as Ma. With the squad. Hands device off, of course. Mandatory safety feature, the head and neck safety device. Great thing is the hands. And the helmet off. And let's have a look at the biggest smile. Yes! Beautiful stuff from Ma. Get them luscious looks. Luscious locks even. Come on, Paul. Under that cap. Another cheer from Jan Elishay again. Another high five. There we go, in time-honoured fashion. Let's get on the roof. You don't need that car again till Macau. And it's likely to get plenty of bumps and scrapes over there as well, so no one's going to be too worried. Brilliant atmosphere here at Zhuzhou. The Chinese fans absolutely passionate. I think that is the fairy tale story for everybody here trackside. He absolutely loves that one, and so do the crowds. Chinese driver, Chinese team in China take a victory. Thank you very much for all concerned. That is the storybook ending. Beppu Girolami, I reckon, is going to be not too happy about that result. I dare say he's going to have one or two things to say about the level of aggression deployed by Ma during that final lap overtake. That might be a story that rumbles on a little bit past the checkered flag. I think it's fair to say it certainly warrants a closer look. That is Santi Urrutia, arms around in the hug as well. Very tight-knit team, the Lincoln Cowboys. Wherever we go around the world, they always stick together, do activations together, eat together, socialise together. It's a very tight-knit unit. Often the rest of the field sort of intermingle, but the Lincoln Co crew stay as one. It's a very, I mentioned it I think in qualifying, Formula One-esque in the way that team operates. A very professional, high-profile team, very high-knit unit, close-knit unit working together. And let's have a look actually, let's have the drivers' points. So Esteban Gurrieri closed it to 10 points from Norbert Michaelis. 19 now is Ted Bjork away. And then Jan Elishay on the quiet has put himself back in contention, 23 points back, 27 backs from Mikael Athkona as well. So very tight at the top of the pack. But we've got a race winner, of course. I think Lisa Leyland's down there with a microphone and a firm word. So in a few moments' time, we're going to head down onto the Parc Fermé area and have a quick word with our race winner. Marching War is with Lisa Leyland. Let's head down.
Makinghua, congratulations. Home victory for you, home victory for the team. You gave your fans exactly what they came here for. It doesn't get much better than that. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah! Can't be better. Yes, fantastic race, and I pushed it really hard, and I think Nestor did a really good job, and his pace is consistent, and he defend very well and well drive. Managing the race, but yeah, the last lap, I was thinking, oh, that's my last chance. I have to try my everything. So yeah, it works. So very good. Thanks for the team. Really happy for the performance this weekend, and yeah, we have a good weekend, I think, and a lot of experience here. Thanks to all the audience around here. Look, the crowd is amazing, so very proud to race and win in my home race.
Enjoy this moment.
Thank you. Yes!
Fantastic stuff then from our race winner, Marching War. Lisa saying enjoy this moment, and I absolutely think Ma will be enjoying this one all the way through to Macau on the 14th and 17th of November. Such is how much it means to win on home for Marching Hua. Really strong performance from the Chinese driver. And here is the provisional results. It's Marching Hua from Beppu Girolami and Jan Elishay completes your podium. Santiago Urrutia comes in fourth ahead of Esteban Gurrieri. Marco Butti is sixth again in race two. Rob Huff finishing seventh from Norbert Michaelis in eighth position. So Michaelis, good recovery drive for him. Ninth for Mikael Athkona. 10th was Ted Bjork, Dusan Borkovic 11th. David Zhu comes home in 12th place, and 13th for Martin Chow, first and second respectively in the TCR China standings. Andy Wan is 14th. He rounds out the TCR China podium, and then Wu Yifan is in 15th place overall and 4th in TCR China. Three retirees, John Philippi, Heng and Jason Z, didn't make it to the checkered flag. And of course, he was a Link & Co benefit, it has to be said, at the top of the tree. Very interested to see what Bebu Girolami's face looks like. Haven't seen him yet, but I dare say he would have been somewhat unhappy about how things transpired in that final lap. Here are the provisional drivers' point standings then. 10 points separate our top two. Ted Bjork is now 19 in arrears. Jan Elishay 23. Mikel Azcona 27 back. Santi Urrutia mathematically still in contention in 6th. And Bebu Girolami, the last of the drivers that mathematically can challenge for the title at the end of Macau weekend next time around. We've got a few highlights coming up in a few moments, so let's take a quick look at some of the happenings from what has been a very dramatic second and final race here in China.
China for race 2 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. In 3rd place from Team Link & Co, Zion Racing, we have Jan Elishay. And in 2nd place from Team BRC Hyundai and Squadra Corsa, we have Bebu Girolami. And I think he needs no introduction. Our winning driver from Team Link & Co Zion Racing, we have Ma Hua. Congratulations there to Markin, and our winning team on the podium today is Link & Co Zion Racing, represented by Victor Young, Vice President of Geely Holding. Congratulations to Link & Co. Time now for the national anthem of the winning team. the Deputy Chief of Taiwan District Government of Zhuzhou City, Chai Yambo. He will be presenting the third place for the Yan Erlishe. And of course our second place trophy goes to Babu Jeralami for the BRC Hyundai Squadron Corsa team. And of course our winning driver today, Ma King-hwa. And on home soil, our winning team, Lincoln Co. Zion Racing here in China. Congratulations. Time now for our family photo.
There we go then, our podium finishers here at Zhuzhou, and an absolutely fantastic performance from the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing Team. Ma King-hwa taking the race victory on home soil. And now it is time for, in time-honoured fashion of course, a little bit of champagne spraying and some celebrating, and the drivers will no doubt be very, very keen to taste that champagne as a mark of celebration. Babu Jeralami still very unhappy, of course, about what happened on that final lap. He quickly exits the stage. He's down to Yan and Ma and the team to celebrate. Absolutely fantastic stuff from all concerned, and that has really uplifted the championship charge, it has to be said. We are going to be electric coming into Macau. Let's have a look then. Drivers' points, Norbert Mikulis leads, Esteban Gurrieri, Ted Bjork, Jan Alishay, Mikael Azcona and Santi Urrutia. 27 points cover our top 5. 7 drivers are still in contention. We came into this weekend with 10 that could mathematically take the title in Macau. Now it is only 7. Who is it going to be? We'll find out. But everybody, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you with us here this weekend. We go again in Macau on the weekend of the 14th to the 17th of November. From me, Paul Jeffrey, and the whole team at the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.